What's up, guys? Welcome to my Premier League predictions reactions video for the 2021-22 season. Now, before you go in the comments and just call me a dickhead because I'm a fucking idiot, well, you can go ahead and do it, yeah, but I'm going to try and explain my reasoning behind a lot of these teams. I did do it in my original video, obviously, but I'm going to go into it again. And in 20th, I predicted Brentford, and they actually finished 13th. Now, again, before you call me a dickhead, I just want to say that I said in my original video, I can see them finishing as high as 12th. I also said if Tony doesn't bang, they're finished. And when Tony went through his dry spell, and when he got omitted from the team because he said fuck Brentford, which is a very true fact. Obviously, it's just true as a fact, but a very true statement, I should say. They lost 7 out of 8 matches, and they were getting found out by teams. And then they brought in Ericsson, and they put Tony back in the team, showing no self-respect for their own club. Just want to put that out there. And that's the only reason they didn't get relegated, in my opinion. I also do want to say that I said that they were a good attacking team, when in reality they just really weren't. They were decent attacking, more geared around defence, I guess. But yeah, I did say if Tony didn't bang, they were done for, and they were going to be done for. And when Ericsson leaves next season, hopefully he leaves anyway. I mean, I don't know what he's doing at Brentford. He could easily be in a European team, but yeah, you know, they have to sell Tony's off to have any well, I say if they have any self-respect. They clearly don't, because they put him back in the team. But yeah, you know what? Fair play. They stayed up. They're gonna go down next season, but yeah. In 19th, I predicted Watford. Perfect prediction. Don't really need to say too much. You know, bad team. Everyone really predicted them in that sort of area, so yeah. In 18th, I predicted Crystal Palace, and they actually finished 12th. I said I wasn't sure if they'd be able to transition away from Roy Hodgson. He's done so well over the past few years to keep him in the Premier League, keep him, you know, in mid-table pretty much for most of that time as well. But Patrick Vieira came in, changed the way they play. You know, very bright attacking team now, Crystal Palace. A lot of young players as well. And yeah, I think that they actually look really good. They had a bit of a sticky run, I think, in April, but overall, you know, they went unbeaten against Man City this season, won at the Etihad. Fair play, can't say much. 17th, I put Norwich. Oh, I'm probably the only person in the world who predicted Norwich to survive. My reasoning was they just, you know, they're a yo-yo club. Go finish bottom of the Premier League, top of the Championship. Surely by now they have to be able to make a plan on how they're going to stay up, and every single year it seems like they don't have one. Their players are just awful. Like, I'm sorry, they had some decent games, but just not enough of them. When they first got Dean Smith in, they actually looked alright, but it just completely fell away. You know, no one really spectacular. Teemu Pukki is not good enough for the Premier League as a lone striker, but he can't do much when he has no support. You know, he's probably the only good player, and that's saying a lot because he weren't very good either. But yeah, got that one wrong by 3 places. In 16th, I put Burnley, and they actually went down in 18th. I think once Sean Dyche was gone, it was over for them. Like, although he hadn't played well throughout the season, he always somehow manages to keep them up. And the fact that they got rid of him when they did, it was worrying for them. But yeah, they almost did stay up. I mean, if they had won on the last day, they would have stayed up, but yeah, it's on them. So yeah, Burnley went down. Good luck in the Championship next season, lads. Can't wait for us to batter you. In 15th, I put Newcastle. They actually finished 11th. Obviously, when I recorded this, the takeover hadn't happened. It seemed like it was dead. But it came back. The Saudis took over Newcastle, and Eddie Howe came in, and he's on a phenomenal job. They were 19th. They looked dead and buried before he came in. They hadn't won a single game, and he came in, you know, completely changed the way they played. Obviously, the new signings did have an impact. The likes of Dan Burn, who they got off Brighton, he was amazing. But they didn't even spend that much money on him. You can't really blame that on the takeover. Bruno Guimaraes obviously was because of the takeover, good defensive midfielder. Didn't play for the first couple of months, but when he came in, he was phenomenal. Matt Targett on loan was very good as well, and they obviously brought in Trippier, who played well at the start and then got injured, but he did win him the first couple of games, I think, with free kicks. But I do want to say Eddie Howe's a genius. When he moved Joelinton back into midfield, he's looked like a completely different player, most improved player this season. The way he's organised the defence so well, like the fact that he isn't even in, or really in with a shout of manager of the year, I think is stupid because he took them from almost definite relegation into comfortable mid-table, almost top half. And I think as a Newcastle fan, you should be very excited for next season. Obviously, you would be. But Eddie Howe, such an underrated manager. One of the best in the league, in my opinion. And yeah, fair play Newcastle. 14th, I predicted Wolves. And they finished 10th. Now, I just want to say, I'm sorry, but I actually hate Wolves. They're such a bad team to watch, man. Such a defensive team. They scored 38 goals, which is 4 more than Norwich and Watford. Not Norwich, sorry. Burnley and Watford. You scored 38 goals in 38 games, and like the only reason they even finished 10th was because of their goalkeeper. Like, he was so good in the first half season. Legit, if Jose Sá was anyone else, the Wolves are finishing like 18th, or no, maybe not that low. They're finishing at least probably 16th or something. Yeah, they're such a poor team to watch. Really, really bad going forward. Although they should have probably beaten Liverpool on the last day. But anyway, I can't believe people are rating them this highly, man. It really angers me. It pisses me off. Anyway. 13th, I predicted Everton. They actually finished 16th. Now, I said every year Everton underperform massively. They bring in a lot of players for a lot of money and sign a big name manager, and then they just flop. And that happened again, but even worse than I predicted this time. They bring in Rafa Benitez at the start of the season. He's I'm sorry, but he's washed. Like, he's terrible. I think they were 17th before Lampard came in. He wasn't amazing with the team he had, but he did do better than Benitez, I think. Managed to keep him up towards the end of the season. It is a disappointing season for you, though, Everton. It happens every year, legit. They think they're going to finish top 4 and they finish 13th, man. Ridiculous. But yeah, Southampton next. I predicted them 12th. They actually finished 15th. I did actually originally predict them 16th, but then they brought in Adam Armstrong and I got gas and I predicted them higher. He wasn't amazing this season, I can't lie. He stopped playing after a while, but yeah, Southampton fell away so hard at the end of the season. They were flying. They were in like 9th. They again, another team that went unbeaten against Man City, getting a lot of good results. By the end of the season, they tanked, man. They got battered 6-0 by Chelsea and then went and beat Arsenal, but still, it was really, really poor ending for them. A lot of people actually predicted them to go down, though, to be fair. So, yeah, I think Ward-Prowse did a lot to keep him up, scored a lot of free kicks this season. What a dead ball player he is, man. Like, probably the best in the league, if not in the world even. Southampton fans should be a bit disappointed with how they ended that season. In 11th, I put Leeds, and they actually finished 17th. They almost got relegated. They only didn't get relegated because Burnley lost it on the last day of the season. They managed to win at Brentford. And I was like, funny story, I was actually on the bus with a bunch of Brentford fans after that game because I was going home in it. And they all complain, I wish we didn't lose to them. They're such horrible people and stuff. I was like, yeah, you lot, man. Leeds, terrible season for them. They had a lot of injuries, to be fair to them. Bamford was out for majority of the season. Same with Calvin Phillips. 2 of their key players from the season before. And they just couldn't really manage it out. And their goal difference was horrific. They had, there was a minus 37, which is just better than Watford's minus 43. Burnley was only minus 19, to be fair. But you don't get promoted, or you don't stay up on goal difference. You stay up on points. Leeds just about managed to stay up. Obviously, sacking Bielsa was also a bold call. I think he's much better than this new American Donny they've got in. But let them do them. And I did say they wouldn't be as good as last season when they finished 9th. And obviously they were never going to be, but they were so much worse. And obviously, if they need to bring in some more cover, I think, clearly for Phillips. Rafinha's rumoured to be leaving as well. If they lose him, that's big because he was one of their few bright sparks. Gelhardt looks really good though, the young boy. So obviously got to bed him in a bit more as well. In 10th, I put West Ham, and they actually finished 7th. I thought that Europa League would mean that they focus more on that, fall off a bit in the Premier League, would have a lot of injuries because their squad is really thin. But they did so well to get 7th. They could have got 6th, but they did bottle it on the last day against Brighton. But yeah, fantastic run in the Europa League as well. I'm so sad that they didn't get to the final. Stupid red card, man, by Cresswell. But anyway, yeah, really good season for them. I think the lack of depth did show a little bit. They couldn't rotate as much as they would have liked. In defence, they were really light. Craig Dawson did amazingly. Obviously, Zuma with his cat situation, just stupid. What's he doing, man? Don't be a dickhead like that. And who was the other centre back they have? I think his Ogbonna was injured for a lot. Antonio managed to stay fit for a majority of this season, which was surprising. He usually has quite a few problems, but he was decent. Not as prolific as they maybe would have liked, especially early on. He was quite good, but he fell off a bit. Bowen was amazing. You know, should be definitely proud that he's in the England team, because he definitely deserves to be based on how well he played for West Ham this season. They obviously linked with bringing in Emmanuel Dennis off Watford. Obviously, they've gone down, so if they get him, that's a really good option for them. Hopefully, they can push on from this position as well. I would like to see him displace the Big Six again, like they did the year before. Really good season for you guys. Happy for you as well. In 9th, I predicted Arsenal, and they finished 5th. I was once again one of the people that predict them to do really badly. And Arteta, although I don't think he's an elite manager, I do have to hold my hands up. He's a lot better than I thought he was going to be. I said Saka and Smith Rowe would really have to step up. Saka, I said, would be ready. I didn't think Smith Rowe was. I think they both are. Smith Rowe has been a bit inconsistent. He hasn't been in the team like consistently though. A lot of the time it is Martinelli playing on the left. I did say Aubameyang was finished, and he clearly proved he was. He's done well at Barca, but he was terrible for Arsenal when he played. And yeah, I think if Arsenal bring in a striker, maybe a defensive midfielder, top 4, you know, they did bottle it a little bit at the end, but I think if you offered Arsenal 5th at the start of the season, they would have taken it. And they've done well. I think Arteta does need to focus a bit more on attack, but then again, saying that, the defence isn't amazing, and if he does focus more on attack, then they might ship a few more goals. But you know, they do have a really young, exciting team there. So again, they're looking promising for the future. In 8th, I predicted Aston Villa, and they finished 40th. I even said I could see them finishing higher than this. Real L on my part. I did say selling Grealish was a loss, but they replaced him with Ings, Buendia and Bailey. And Buendia and Bailey really didn't show up this season. They were 16th when Dean Smith got sacked, I think, and brought in Steven Gerrard. He took them up to like 11th, 10th, and then they fell off again at the end. Almost beat City at the end of the season to really throw a spanner in their title hopes, so they bottled it at the end. And obviously, big boy Michael Beale, the assistant, has come to QPR. He's taken us to the Premier League. Big up Michael Beale, come on. But yeah, Villa, bringing Coutinho in January, he was really good for a while, and then he just went missing. Then he turned up a little bit again at the end. Jacob Ramsey looks really, really promising. Hopefully he can continue. And I think Mings is awful. Thank God they replaced him. He is such a bad defender. Everyone shits on Maguire, and rightly so. He's awful as well. But no one really talks about Mings, and he's basically just a left-footed Maguire, man. Yeah, he doesn't deserve to be their club captain. Horrible player, terrible defender. The amount of mistakes he made is uncountable. In 7th, up at Tottenham. They actually finished 4th. A huge part of that is because of Antonio Conte coming. Wow, I'm looking at the difference in all the amount of 3s and 4s here, and even 6s. Holy, I was awful. So bad, man. Oh my god. But yeah, anyway, I think if they'd kept Nuno, they would have finished like 10th or something, because he's an awful manager, man. I can't believe he got the Tottenham job. Antonio Conte came in, completely changed the way they play. They were much more direct, much more attacking. To change the system up. Brandon Kulusevski, he's been a revelation. Same as Rodrigo Bentancur in the midfield. Ryan Sessegnon's looked amazing. He's looked like the player that was at Fulham in the Championship that year when they came up, beating Brentford in the playoff final. Kane once again he started really poorly, but he really brought it back in the second half. Son, I said, was a bit inconsistent. He really was so consistent, especially at the end of the season. Got joint goal and boot as well. And yeah, Tottenham started to blow some teams away. They were amazing. Another team that went unbeaten against City actually won both times against Man City, including a 95th minute winner at the Etihad. absolute scenes when that happened. But I think Tottenham, defensively, I want to give a huge shout out to Romero and Dyer. They were so good this season, especially Dyer. No one really expected. Everyone, I thought he was washed, and he came back this season in the middle of a free. He looks insane. But yeah, I think Tottenham, maybe a right wing back and maybe a centre midfielder away from really challenging. You know, the way they came back under Antonio Conte, remarkable. That's all I'm going to say. In 6th, I predicted Brighton. They actually finished 9th, but if the season went on for a few more weeks, they would have got 6th, and there's no doubt in my mind about this, or at least 7th. You know, I said in my original video, this could be the prediction that really, yeah, gives me a big deal. They could finish like 17th or something. But my reasoning for them finishing 6th was so contradictory. I said that they had the 3rd best, or something like the 3rd best expected goals last season. And I said that this season, they'd get a lot of 1-0s and they won't be pretty to watch. How wrong was I? They are one of the best teams in the Premier League to watch. They play really good football. They play out from the back. You know, they press high. They pass around really well, move really well. And I think they were doing that the whole season, but they weren't really getting rewarded for their efforts until towards the end. Because there were a lot of games where they were outplaying their opponents and just getting 1-1 draws or 0-0 draws or losing 1-0. You know, thanks to not having a clinical striker. Welbeck has definitely been good for them, but I think because of his age and his injury proneness, they do need to still get another striker in. And because Maupay, I'm sorry, but he's nowhere near consistent enough, nowhere near clinical enough. But yeah, you know, they were like 16th for a lot of the season, and towards the end they really flew up the table, came up to 9th, beat West Ham on the last day as well. Graham Potter's such an underrated manager. Wish him well for the future as well. And yeah, you know, they deserve a lot of credit, Brighton, for how well they've played this season. In 5th, I put Manchester United. This was a controversial one because everyone was predicting them in the top 3. And I said, I don't think they do. I just didn't. I had a feeling. Maybe it was just because I hated United. I did also say that. I said Ole wouldn't last the season. I said he'd either get sacked in like March or he'd get sacked really early in like November. And he did. So technically I got that right. Ralph Rangnick is what a fucking fraud that man is, man. People are, oh, he's the godfather of the German press. Oh, Jurgen Klopp and Thomas Tuchel learnt off him. And he's so bad, Sam. It's unbelievable. I believe this is Man United's worst ever Premier League season in terms of points recorded. And you know what? I'm proud of my prediction, man, because I didn't fall under the hype of, oh, they got Varane, they got Sancho. Sancho was so dead this season, man, as was Varane. Ronaldo, to be fair to him, was actually really good, man, especially in that team. Jesus, man. Rashford is so poor, man. So poor. Maguire as well, man. He's finally being outed as the fraud he is. Oh my god, there's so much. Just pray for you, Eric, man. Good luck, bro. You're going to need it. Oh, this is not a good one. Well, 4th, I predicted Leicester. To be fair, they had a lot of injuries this year, especially to the defenders. They had like no fit defenders. Vardy was injured for a bit as well, and you know, Daka, while he was good in the Conference League, was not good enough in the Prem, in my opinion. Vardy, I want to give a big shout out to him, man. He's like 34 years old and he still scored 15 goals and only like 25 appearances. That is insane numbers. But they do need to really, you know, Iheanacho and Daka need to step up more next season because Vardy can't do it forever, man. He's defying the laws of physics, though, and hopefully he can continue to do so. But yeah, he was really good. Maddison as well, insane season for him, especially at the end. He really shined. I'm proud to see that as well because I really like Maddison. I think he should be in the England team. I'm surprised he didn't get called up. Yeah, Gareth is just a bit stupid, isn't it? But defence was injured for the majority of the season. They do have Drewsbury Hall coming through though now, which is good to see. He was really good. And yeah, 8th for Leicester. I think it isn't great for them. But they did end the season really strongly when they had more of their players fit, which I think is a promising sign. Obviously, with few additions, no European football next year, they should really be kicking on and getting into Europe. And 3rd, I predicted Liverpool. Now, I also said that if Liverpool had the whole squad fit, they could easily win the league, or they will at least challenge and finish 2nd. I made the prediction of them finishing 3rd because they didn't really add anyone in the summer. But obviously, Konate came in, but Kabak went out. Phillips left as well. The defensive issues weren't really solved. Obviously, there wasn't an injury crisis this year. And I think Luis Diaz coming in January was huge because Salah really dropped off after AFCON, man. He was terrible, except against Man United. After that game, he was awful. To lose a title in the way they did was really harsh, man. Like, they were moments away, but Villa just completely bottled against Man City. 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes, they went from 2-0 up to 3-2 down. But to be fair, Liverpool can't really blame on them, because I think if Liverpool were beating Wolves at the time Villa were winning 2-0, it could have been different. So I think the pressure would have got to City, but because it was still in City's hands at that point because Liverpool weren't winning. And although Liverpool did end up winning, City had won as well, so it's a shame. But yeah, I think Jurgen Klopp is still a miracle worker. Obviously, Mane looks like he's leaving. Apparently, this Nunes guy's coming in. 85 mil, way too much for him, in my opinion. But yeah, Luis Diaz has been a revelation. I still think Liverpool need a creative midfielder. Will Carvalho be that guy? Who knows? Is he ready for the step up? We'll have to wait and see. In second, I'll put Chelsea, and I'm one of the people that fell into this hype. And as a QPR fan, you'd expect me not to fall into this hype, but I thought with my head, and I thought, you know what? They won the Champions League. Their squad is young, typically. They're getting a year older. Adding Lukaku to that, ridiculous team. Lukaku, within weeks of signing, said, "Yeah, I want to go back to Inter." Got dropped from the team. Havertz had to play up front. He's awful. Absolutely horrible player, Havertz. So overrated, man. I can't believe people actually think he's good. Mason Mount is so underrated as well, man. The only good player in that Chelsea attack. Pulisic is shite. So shite, man. He can't finish for shit. But yeah, Mason Mount to get 11 goals and 10 assists. The youngest ever Chelsea player to do so. And the first since, obviously, Eden Hazard. It really shows how good he's been this season. I can't believe he hasn't won Young Player of the Year. Phil Foden's absolutely robbed that. Like, 9 goals and 4 assists is not great, especially in that Manchester City team. I think Foden's falling under the category of being a bit overrated, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, unfortunate for Chelsea. Well, I say unfortunate. They were horrible throughout most season. They relied on their defenders to score most of their goals. Reece James was very good. So was Chilwell before his injury, and then Alonso came in and was also quite good. Chalobah, the young centre-back, he looks very good. Rudiger's obviously left. He was a good player for them. I'm saying good quite a lot here. Thiago Silva is off for 36-year-old. You know, he don't look too bad either. Kante was quite poor this season. Kovacic looked decent. Jorginho, again, so poor. I can't believe he got third in the Ballon d'Or, man. But yeah, they need to fix up, man, because that team should not be finishing that far away from City and Liverpool. They were closer to like United, I think, than the top two, which was appalling. And obviously in first, Manchester City, I predicted them to finish first, as did most people. But my second perfect prediction in this set. And you know, you can't, like, realistically here, they won the league last season comfortably. They added Jack Grealish. You'd have thought it'd be more comfortable for them, but credit to Liverpool, man. No one really predicted them to be as good as they were. City adding Erling Haaland to the mix. I think next season is the one season that Liverpool or someone else has to, you know, really win the league. I don't think Liverpool will spend any money, or not much anyway. So realistically here, City will probably win the league, and I think it'll take a year for Haaland to bed in. I think Grealish will be a lot better next season. The Premier League the Premier League pretty much is a one-team league now because City win it every year. Although Liverpool do push them close most years. Once Klopp leaves, I think Liverpool really will fall away. If there's anything I forgot to mention, I'll add it in now. Of course I forgot to add something. It's me. That's what I do. But yeah, I forgot to talk about the point system. So if you don't know how this works, you get a point per place you were wrong per team. So for example, with Brentford, I got them 7 places wrong, so I would get 7 points. With Leeds, I was 6 places wrong, so I'd get 6 points. It doesn't matter which way you were wrong, it just matters the amount of places you were wrong. And last season I got 66. This season, somehow, or even after looking at this and the amount of teams I got wrong by so many places, I got 64. Still a horrible season. I said at the start I only wanted to get like 45, but you know, we'll take the improvement. Overall, I think my predictions were actually worse this year, but last season I predicted West Ham and Sheffield United both 10 places wrong, which obviously would have increased my points total a lot. But yeah, thank you for watching. See you again next season when I do my Premier League predictions again.